What is up, guys? This is Mike Willoughby coming to you with a short episode of the Steel Corner. Today we're just going to dive into my carry optics setup with the SIG P320 AXG Pro. Let's get into it. Alright, so as I was saying, this is a SIG P320 AXG Pro. It has the Grey Guns competition trigger kit in it, currently breaking about 3 pounds. The magazine release was drilled and tapped by my gunsmith so I could put a 2011 paddle on it. It has the lock brass grips on it, and I just put some silicone carbide on it. As you can see, wasn't taken so well in certain areas. We'll see how long that holds up. I really like the texture, so if it doesn't hold up, I'll probably find a way to do it more permanently. But for now, that's what it is. It has the CHP-WS SRO plate on it. So if you don't know, SROs are the same footprint as RMRs, and they will directly mount to the AXG Pro slide. However, as you can see, the SRO hangs over the ejection port a good bit. And what happens if you don't put any sort of plate on there is it hangs over the ejection port so much that when the gun cycles, the brass will bounce off the bottom of the optic and go back into the chamber and cause a malfunction. So if you want to run an SRO on an AXG Pro, you have to at least run the CHPWS plate. I am also running a sealer plate underneath it to just give it like an extra hair of space under there, just to lift it up off of the ejection port that much more. This setup has worked great. I haven't had any malfunctions with the brass going back into the chamber or anything like that. Coming around to the other side of the gun, pretty standard affair. So just the same grips on the other side. We got the brass back strap also from Lock Grips. This is a Double Alpha Academy dry fire mag. And then the rest of the gun is basically stock. Recoil system is an Armory Craft. So Armory Craft recoil rod, currently running an 11-pound spring, which works great for my Steel Challenge loads. And it is surprisingly not violent with full power factor, 147 grain, 125, 130 power factor ammo. So that's what I'm currently running for carry optics. Just moved up to number 11 on the top 20 list this week. But that's my current setup. Let me know if you have any questions. Before I cut this short episode, I just wanted to talk for a minute about my philosophy when it comes to modifying guns. There's 2 trains of thought that I have on this. One is that you need to be able to essentially run any weapon at any format. That was my goal when becoming a better shooter. Any weapon, any format, doesn't matter what's done to it. You should be able to run a stock Glock just as well as you can run a tuned 2011. That's my philosophy. But on the other hand, you should not be scared to modify your competition guns to fit you better. Now, this SIG that I'm running, I didn't have to do a ton of modifications to it to get it to fit my liking, but even things like opening up the mag well helps a ton with reloads. But a lot of people are like really scared to do anything like that to their guns. It's your gun, it's a tool. It's supposed to be an extension of your body. You should have so much time on that gun that you know exactly where it doesn't fit you appropriately. And in my opinion, you shouldn't be scared to modify it to fit you perfectly. If you're spending $10,000 on a custom 2011, maybe you'd be pretty hesitant to hit it with a Dremel, but we're talking about a $250 SIG frame. You shouldn't be scared to hit that with a Dremel. Any way that a piece of equipment doesn't fit you, you should be willing and open-minded to modifying that to fit you. The people at the factory who designed it have no idea what your dimensions are or how you like your gun set up, so set it up the way that you like it. A good example is the Legion frames. You'll see a lot of competitors narrow the side profile, cut down the beaver tail, and then silicone carbide and epoxy it so that it's a little bit bigger and more rounded. And yeah, I just think that you should be open-minded to doing those things. The worst that happens is you go out and buy another piece, but usually it's recoverable anyway. So don't be afraid to modify your gear to fit you better. Obviously, when it comes to things like tuning actions and changing trigger profiles and adjusting pre-travel, you should look into the safety systems and know what you're doing. Don't just go around and taking all the pre-travel out of your trigger without knowing the implications that may have with the safety systems. But when it comes to things like ergonomics and making something fit your hand, for example, a great example, I don't have it with me right now, but the Shadow 2 magazine release. I'm left-handed, but I keep the magazine release on the normal side of the gun, and it would dig into my finger, and I would sometimes accidentally drop a mag. So what I did was I took off essentially the bottom third of that magazine release. Like, it took 5 minutes, but a lot of people are really scared to, get a set of files, get a Dremel, and attack their equipment like that. Just be open to experimentation. Make your gear work for you. Don't work around deficiencies in your gear. Thanks, guys. See you next time.